En dat is interessant voor onszelf en voor verdere ontwikkeling van de hele aarde.
All right, welcome to today's Explorers, a series dedicated to sharing the inspiring stories and varying perspectives of those who have chosen to seek out life-changing adventure. On the line, I've got Ad. Hi, Ad.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, great.
Where in the world are you?
I am now in the Netherlands, in the city of Nijmegen, where we have the biggest mountains of the Netherlands.
Oh, well, yeah, that's surprising considering everything else is flat.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's jump straight in. Maybe you could give a background of your life before seeking life-changing adventure.
Yeah, well, I was born on a farm with cattle and also potatoes and oat and everything. And actually over there, you can stroll around in the meadows, in the fields. So that's what I started already, I think, when I was 6 or something, with a small bag, and I collected the things I found. And well, after that, I went to high school and a university in Wageningen, and it is also environmental stuff a lot over there. So then I got more the interest for traveling abroad,
Hmm.
because with my parents on the farm, we never went on a holiday. But in my study, I went to India and afterwards to Nepal and other countries in Asia, and then South America, and then once again to Central Asia and recently to Africa.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you got the bug sort of in your educational years then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we were educated in being aware of the whole planet. In Wageningen, it's mainly the physical things, like
Uh-huh.
geology and landscape and biodiversity. But of course, also a lot about the social things and the cultural things, because yeah, they are very important in understanding what's going on and how to improve and whatever.
Wow. Okay. Um, from your studies or your background, did you get any special skills that you use for your travels?
Well, I think it's the curiosity of looking to what is around you and why is it in that way. And I think we learn that a lot in the study, and also to be critical on that. We have also a lot of things from, especially from Wageningen, to help the third world. Very often that goes a little bit wrong with bad techniques and whatever. But fortunately, we also learned to first watch what is the culture and why are the things going like that. And indeed, when I'm in a foreign country, I always want to know, how did this landscape came like it is. I
Mm-hmm.
told you, just like in the Netherlands, in Nijmegen, we have mountains, but they are formed by glaciers from Scandinavia. And that's also wherever I am, I just want to know, how is this landscape made? How is the water? How is the weather? What's the soil? And then what type of people do live here? And then, yeah, I get an understanding for why they are doing the things they are doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got in my study, I think.
Well, that's good. You mentioned your travels in your teens and that, but most recently, where have you explored so far with your vehicle?
Yeah. So I just came back from Africa.
Hmm.
I had never been there. And since I was young, I was also very interested in animals and the combination of animals and people. Near Nijmegen, I went a lot into Germany to spot deer and how the Germans deal with the wild animals, which is quite different from the Netherlands. And then I also once went to Central Asia for the tigers and stuff. I didn't see them because I was in the wrong season. I was not so good prepared that time that as I am now. And of course in Africa, yeah, it's really so great to see those animals, but also how those African people deal with predators. I mean, the lions and the cats, other cats, they eat the cattle.
Mhm.
And nowadays in Western Europe, we also have like wolves, etc. And it's very interesting.
Interesting. What made you decide to go explore Africa? Was it purely for the animals or?
Yeah, I think so. And also, both my sons graduated their study. And yeah, it was also a sort of finishing touch on our spotting deer things. We started with the three of us in a Land Rover, like fishes in a tin. We
Mhm.
could lie in the back. And we walked kilometers to spot animals. So we thought, let's go to Africa and hopefully we see some more animals. And we did. Yeah, that was really great. Yeah.
That's brilliant. What are your top 3 next destinations then you'd like to visit?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it sounds a little bit strange, but I've seen quite a lot of the world. So in Central Asia and in South America, and now fortunately in Africa. And really, Africa, yeah, I liked it very much. So I think that will be one of maybe next destination as well. And maybe I started in South Africa and through Namibia. So
Mhm.
maybe those countries again. Namibia is very interesting, and also for traveling it's quite compact, so you don't have to, yeah, of course there's still big distances. Yeah, and of course Uganda is also very interesting with the gorillas.
Mm.
And otherwise in the southern part of South America, like Chile and those countries, and yeah, I'm also very interested in glaciers and how that's going on. Yeah, and then still on the third place is again Central Asia. I really like those Tajikistan, Pakistan, those northern areas where they connect to each other. That's so amazing. And
Mm. So it sounds like you want to return to some of the places you've been. I mean, it's hard to explore all the country, so
yeah, yeah, yeah. And usually there is, I mean, sometimes that's a little bit, how do you say it, strange for me. Usually I seek a reason to go somewhere,
Mhm.
not only for holiday or to only relax. Maybe I should do that more. But exploring for me is usually also a sort of expedition. So, like in those Central Asia countries, that's the third ice pool of the world.
Mm.
Maybe we can talk about that later. And I saw a lot of interesting things how they go on with the glaciers. I can just shortly mention that they make those man-made ice towers.
Okay.
So you can imagine they are really like as big as houses or buildings. And in that way, the whole temperature goes down a little bit over there and the glaciers grow again, actually.
Okay.
I found that so interesting that, well, my opinion by traveling through Iran and Pakistan is that they are not causing the climate problem. Of course, they grow very much, but they live in such a small footprint,
Mm.
way smaller than we as Westerns do. And then that I saw that they try to repair those glaciers, which is very important for us, sea level rising, etc.
Yeah.
I almost cried when I saw that they are doing that, and not with machines or big stuff. They just go on the mountains with tubes and yeah, like the shower top we use. They use that to sprinkle the water, and that freezes again. And they do that every, yeah, really interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
Of the places though you've visited, where would you recommend people go to?
yeah. Well, this Central Asia area is, I think, for traveling is very nice because, yeah, you can go your own way and your own, how do you call it, the tempo. So how
Yeah.
fast
You're
you
on.
want to go. I experienced that a little bit in Africa. It's more that the people, yeah, they want something of you a little bit more, and of course I understand that. On the other hand, Central Asia is very big, so sometimes you travel very long distances, and I can imagine that for some people that like for 2 days you don't see other people or no houses or whatever, it can be tough as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the area is very beautiful and not so touristic. So yeah, I think I recommend that very much.
Great place to explore.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So let's talk about your vehicle then. What vehicle do you have? What year is it? And any modifications you've made to it?
Yeah, well, at the moment I have a Land Rover Defender from 2008.
Mhm.
So that's what they call Puma, and with the engine from the factory, the engine is from Ford, but the six gearbox is very nice. You see, you have this sixth gearbox on the highway, and
Yeah.
that's where it comes that it makes less noise and you go really nice on the highway, like 120 you can drive easily.
Mm.
And it also has air conditioning in it, so that's also nice. And well, the main thing I converted was to rebuild it to a camper.
Mhm.
And in the Netherlands, when you have this pop-up roof and some kitchen stuff inside, then the tax is way lower. So that's quite important to drive a vehicle like that in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
because it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
The tax is very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But that conversion is really nice. We go a lot in the mountains, and then it's nice that you can go from inside. Then, when you have cooked and it's bad weather, you can go from inside to your bed. And also in the morning, you can actually do everything in the car.
Mhm.
Also, my toilet is a very small toilet I have there. Yeah. And of course, we live a lot outside there when the weather is nice. But with this pop-up roof, it's really cool. And the rest is quite standard. I only carry a very good drink water filter, so that I can make my own drink water everywhere, which is
Mhm.
very important. Yeah, some extra water, not even extra diesel, and some recovery gear. That's actually it. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And on that, what other equipment, if you could pick 5 that you always travel with, what would those be?
Well, concerning the cars first, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I just mentioned, this water filter, and that's what you not buy on the first camping shop. You really have, well, in my case, I bought something with the Red Cross also uses. So
Oh, okay.
kills really all bacteria, and that's very nice. That wherever you are, you can, well, yeah, I can even pee in my water tank, and drink water will come out. And then the second thing what I like very much is the cooking plate. That's a ceramic cooking plate which
Mm.
runs on diesel. So it's the same that you use for your engine. So
Right.
I never have to think about a gas bottle or whatever. And it was very expensive, but at the end, that's very nice. Yeah,
Worth the money. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, and of course, a high lift jacket, that's very handsome, well, for recovery or whatever,
Yeah.
or to repair the car. And yeah, I walk a lot as well. So in my backpack, I also have this type of drink water filter. And yeah, a good raincoat. That's the thing I carry for exploring.
Okay. And what
Even
about
when there's a lot of sun, I still wear my, well, I don't wear it, but I have it in my backpack.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
when you go to these glaciers and everything, you must have equipment that you bring as
Yeah,
well for that.
exactly. Yeah. Then you
Mm.
need the crampons and rope. And like in Pakistan, you're not allowed to go alone, so you need a permit and everything. But that's very nice, and it's not like on the Mount Everest with so many people. It's really remote, no guest houses or whatever. You are in tents.
Okay.
But that gear is very important. And I also have to say that you should not go, when you don't have experience, people should not go just on the glaciers, because it can be very dangerous, not only that you fall, but also the weather. And I'm lucky that I had the time in my life to learn it a little bit, and then you can go there.
Yeah. Great. These next questions are what I call the reflective questions. So we'll start with the first one. What inspires you to explore?
Yeah, it's the combination of the landscape and how people live in that. Because yeah, we are on a planet, and animals live there and people live there, and that combination, that's what interests me. How they adapt or not adapt, put it to their hands, or just go with the natural environment. And that's what I'm interested in. Yeah, it's also because there you find a lot of solutions. What I mentioned about these ice towers,
Hmm.
that was actually a habit of very old Pakistani. In the summer, in those mountains, it's very dry, and even then they have not enough water. So already 100 years ago, they brought some water back to some places where it froze in the winter,
Hmm.
and in the summer it melted, and that's how they could water their trees with fruit. So it's a very old technique, and now some young people listen to their grandpas and grandmas and are using that again.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, I think I also have that from my dad. When on the travel something goes wrong with the car or with my equipment, I just try to fix it very easily, very simple.
Mm.
So that's, yeah, that combination is what I'm interested.
Okay. And how do you engage with other people?
Yeah, usually, well, I think as overlanders, we know when you come somewhere with all your gear, with your car or backpack and nice shoes and whatever, yeah, you're a sort of attraction. So,
Hmm.
but usually I just stay calm and yeah, sit down for a while on or with my car. I step out and hang around a little bit, not immediately go asking for whatever, but just sit down. And then the local people get more relaxed as well. And then I'm very, yeah, I can very make easy talks, whatever. It's somebody at the gas station who asks for money. Then, I turn it on another level and then, yeah, just talk with people and that's okay.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
use social media at all to communicate with other travelers when you travel, or?
Yeah. 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 So, yeah, a lot on Facebook, of course, and Instagram.
Hmm.
But during my travels, I usually don't have that much internet.
Okay.
So I slow it down then very much. Only when it's very necessary, I communicate then.
So with that not having internet, how do you navigate? Do you have a GPS with you, or?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, I think, because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Or they know and they know only the very expensive stuff or something. But I don't know if I can mention that here. But there's a very simple, free GPS navigation which you can just download on your app. People
Okay.
can watch in my posts there. I mentioned that.
Yep.
And then indeed, I use that for the car, but also for the walking on the glaciers. So even the places where you can tap water from the mountain or whatever are on these maps.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very yeah, handsome because in the middle of nowhere you don't have the internet connection, and in this way you still have the navigation.
That's pretty
So that goes
interesting.
good. But like in Africa, also the tracks through the rivers or through the bed of the rivers, they are all there and mentioned with their name as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really
That's
a
good.
tip because, like in Africa now, my sons wanted to buy a SIM card. I said, yeah, but mostly we don't have signal, so that's not
Not
so.
worth it.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah,
Um, why is it important that we embrace global cultures?
yeah. I think I mentioned that already a little bit. I'm quite, uh, yeah, I'm dealing a lot in my life with what I call sustainability, and that's not
Hmm.
only environment. That's also that we as people want to eat, we want a house. So that's why I see this as a triangle of housing, food, and all the wild animals. When you embrace other cultures, you get a better understanding of why they are living in that way. Or, for example, why are we in the Western countries having problems? Or what we say, like in Africa, they are having problems with the water or whatever. Well, when you start to understand their culture and that once they were nomads and we also, and why they are living in the way they are now living, then you understand it way more. At
Hmm.
least you can talk more easily together. And
Yeah.
then because I come from a farm, like in this kind of type of countries, it's when you call that you come from a farm, it's already very easy to talk with each other. Yeah, they know that you have to deal with water for your animals or food for the animals, and yeah. So I
Interesting.
think when you get a better understanding, in Tajikistan, people live way different than in Africa, and then you can understand it at least.
Yeah.
So that's very important that you understand each other, also with the religions. And maybe when you want to help a little bit, then you can help from these insights.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. What have been some of the challenges that you've experienced?
Yeah, well, when I went to Pakistan from the Netherlands, in Albania, it was quite warm.
Hmm.
And already there you saw also the shortage of water. So it was quite hard to find the water for my drinking. Usually I take some jerry cans from a river or something. So that was already hard. But also vegetables were very hard to buy on the markets, etc. So
Mm.
it was pretty hot there. And then you almost, well, it's not really surviving, but you already reach such a point like, okay, there's not much vegetables here. How will we deal with that? So
Yeah.
the temperature is quite a challenge, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. But also, well, in Pakistan, it was actually It sounds very heavy, K2, but of course I didn't go on the top of that because that's really dangerous, but only to the base camp. And then it's more the height that you above 4,000 meters, you get quite dizzy and
Yeah.
weak, and yeah, it's hard to go on.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the flip side, then, what's been the most meaningful moment for you?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that one moment already. I mentioned that just before that expedition to Pakistan was to showcase true sustainable projects. So in the Western countries, the gas is finished in the Netherlands, so we have to find another solution for that. And like I saw in England that electricity cables are already very thick, so you will deal with that. That's not a problem. But we don't have that. We have not put enough money in that. So people think here that when the government organizes a lot of wind turbines and we buy a lot of those Chinese cheap heat pumps, that everything is okay. But it's not, because the connection in between has to be it has to get much thicker. So we should need a lot of copper from Afghanistan. So that's not the solution. So I try to promote another type of heat pumps and another type of solar panels, and then you use in one building 30% less electricity.
Interesting.
And you can even store the heat in a water tank. So that's all different types of things, and not the cheap Chinese stuff. It's expensive stuff made in the Netherlands, made in Germany, made in Scandinavia. So expensive stuff. But in that way, we need not so much from countries like Afghanistan or Congo. Well, and to promote that, I traveled to Pakistan. But then, at that moment you asked, then I saw over there what I just told, that those people there are not causing those climate problems. Some have a car. In the buildings, they have 2 hours per day, they have electricity. So they don't have so much television or light or fridge. They put their food under the ground where it's still cool. So that was a very, interesting moment for me. Hey, this is the way they live on the other side of the world. And we can learn a lot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. How has exploration changed you?
Well, when I finished my study and I did some traveling, I had a job at a ministry in The Hague. And, you're very busy with all the stuff, all the problems, and trying to find solutions. And then you realize that thousands of people are dealing with the same problems and whatever. When I'm traveling, I take the opportunity to step back a little way and to see what is actually happening. And then you find much more the real solutions. Yeah. So that's very nice for me in traveling. And now I have my own company, so I can go whenever I want. When I feel it's getting too hectic in the Netherlands, and everybody is asking me for solutions of whatever, then I usually decide I go away, and I'm going to think about not only, also I try to just to enjoy, but also think about more solutions for back home.
Interesting.
And meanwhile, I find a lot of solutions for those other countries as well, like in Pakistan and also in Africa. They were very interested in this heat pumps because they use a lot of wood for it. And the wood is also not so much available, and it's bad for their eyes.
Right.
So they are interested in these machines. And then I try to develop that they make them themselves, so that not we from the Western countries sell that to them, but that they make it themselves.
Interesting. So Explore More has a mantra, which is explore more of the world, engage with others, and embrace global cultures, which you've spoken about. But when you hear those words, what does that make you think of, feel?
Yeah, well, it's nice that you mentioned feel, because when I came on your website and your things, I felt really connected. And usually I'm quite often into technique and solutions, or care for animals, or care for houses. But actually I'm very interested in those cultural aspects as well. That's also, I think, why I went when I was 24 to India, to see other religions, and that they have way other important things for their lives. And also the Buddhism in Nepal, or a more the nomad life in the Stan countries. And like in Africa, it's also different. I don't understand all of it yet, but it's way different. And for me, that's interesting already as well. And that's, I think, also why I appreciate more the different cultures and colored people in the Netherlands as well. You see, I don't see them as intruders or whatever, but more like an enrichment of the life and a better understanding of life on this planet.
Yeah. In the end, we're all humans sharing the
Yeah,
one planet.
yeah. And first you maybe think when you see other people or other tribes, that's strange. Why are you not doing it this way? But when you can try to understand it, then often it brings you more interesting things to live as well.
Yeah, for sure. Great. We're wrapping up here, but what advice would you give to others who are thinking about exploring?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I've been thinking a little bit about that last 5 years, I think. That's also the time that what I told, I take more time to do these expeditions and a
Hmm.
little bit with a goal. But I think for my advice is that do what you feel that you have to do. I mean, I also in my own small country, in the southern part of the Netherlands or the northern part, it's also very interesting to explore. Usually I go there only for a weekend or whatever, but I could spend there weeks as well. And I did that before as well. It's not necessary to immediately go to the other side of the world when you want to start exploring. Sometimes you forget your own country or your own region.
Yeah, important to explore
Yeah,
locally.
that's my advice. I mean, I live in a city now, but the neighboring village is completely different. And fortunately, I'm a little bit into that village as well. So it's very
Hmm.
interesting to see how they live and what they are doing. But of course, when you have the feeling to see more of the world, yeah, the advice is just go there, don't hesitate, and prepare as much as possible. Be open for it.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
that's also a little bit a warning. Sometimes I see a lot of complaints on the internet about closed borders or that a region is not safe anymore or whatever. Yeah, okay. That's what you can expect when you travel over the world. I mean, like your parents, that was a complete different time.
Mm,
And now we have internet everywhere. We can just ask what's with the border and whatever. But sometimes, yeah, you drive 800 kilometers to a place and you have to go back again. That's,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to learn to adapt.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share about your interests and program before we end?
Yeah, well, that's still a little bit my mission and of yeah trying to understand other cultures, and maybe if people like, if they are interested, try to use that in your own environment. Usually, people do have a house or they live somewhere, and when you can do there the small things to improve the world in the sustainable and the social way, that would be nice. But that's just that's yeah I try to show that on festivals or whatever in my own articles, but here it's more, well, people want to have fun as well, of course.
Mm,
So, but I have always said not only with education you can learn about life, but yeah, traveling, exploring is that you see those other people and those other buildings, those other ways of living. That's very important, I think, to live your life. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see it
Very.
also with my kids. When they were small, of course, they went with me nearby. But now, for the first time, they went with me to Africa, and I see it already in how they behave and how they. And the first time in such a big city, they see, oh, it's scary here. But when you just go a little bit, and of course, beware of your stuff and whatever. But then, yeah, it goes better, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and much better life lessons learned
yeah,
exploring than.
yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it's been very inspiring listening to you answer the questions. How can people follow you to follow your adventures?
Yeah, well, that's on Facebook and Instagram. I have an account. So my name is Ad van Dortmont.
Hmm.
And there I usually, when I'm back from an expedition, I put some posts over there. So with also showing those true nice projects in a social way or more the sustainable things. Like, for example, I saw in Africa now where farmers grow oranges.
Hmm.
The orange trees need a lot of water. but they don't use pumps and energy for that. They just, in the mountains, they make bassins, so the water comes down. Very simple, but a very nice way of growing oranges, I think. So that's what I try to share, and that also other people get inspired with that. But of course, also the beautiful places which are not that touristic, but more remote. And that's also nice of the website and of the social media, that we can share that easily, that we are not going all to the same place and making a lot of hectic situation there, but you can also explore other places.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, At. I will bid you farewell and continue to watch you explore.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the show. If you want to share feedback, please hit the comments below or head over to exploremore.com/feedback for more information. If you want to see more interviews and other content, then please hit the subscribe button. Cheers.